Hello, viewers. How are you today? This is Ubaid from the Recruiters Pakistan. Welcome to the another exciting episode of Victory Spectrum LinkedIn Live podcast session. Today we have a wonderful guest all the way from Switzerland. His name is Dr. Thomas Juli. He is the founder of Human Business Labs, and he's doing some amazing work. He is transforming AI businesses into human businesses. So today we'll discuss a lot from and learn a lot from AI governance in the human age. Hello, Dr. Thomas. Welcome to our podcast, sir.
Well, hello, and thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, sir, today we'll discuss a lot of things regarding human governance in the era of agentic and generative AI, sir. So, sir, my
Yes.
first question is, in your human business framework, how do we ensure that human leaders retain absolute decision ownership even when the logic behind an AI recommendation is complex or opaque?
Well, that's a very good point, because honestly, what we can observe over the last at least the last year, maybe even longer, that more and more decisions are drifting into systems. That is, like, we are delegating decisions into, in this case, AI, and talk about ChatGPT and all the others things. And then, of course, it makes things so much easier because it's, oh, the AI said such and such. But we have to be very careful. Yes, AI can and is a great help, and it can really accelerate decisions and say do deep search, etc., etc. But let's make sure that at the end of the day, or we have to understand that at the end of the day, we have to make the decision. Not, in other words, not everything that AI tells us is accurate.
Okay.
So, I mean, and there is a prerequisite. We need to know what we really want. We need to know what drives us. We need to know where we like to be.
Okay.
So if you just take AI for granted, you may be misguided and you end up with a wrong decision, because at the end of the day, you as a leader are accountable for whatever you decide. You can say, AI told me, that's fine, but also from the compliance side, it's you who is accountable for that decision and not AI.
Okay. Sir, when an AI system becomes your primary partner, especially when in a boardroom setting, how does a leader know when to follow the data and when to lead with human intuition without losing their gap or grip on accountability?
Excellent question. At the World Economic Forum a couple of weeks ago, there was a session at the, I think it was Axios House, and Workday published data, and it indicated that up to 40% of the results from AI, in this case ChatGPT, I think it was, had to be redone. You have to double check it. So if you take all the data, that's it's actually presented to you through AI for granted, then maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but you always have, I mean, we're talking due diligence. You have to double check. If it's a really important decision you have to make, you definitely have to double check the sources of the data and make sure it's actually accurate. So now this can very well be in the future, let's say in a couple of weeks or months, that we don't have to do this anymore, but relying 100% on AI,
Can be dangerous. Can be
well,
lethal.
yeah, of course. And if you have to make, when you have to make a decision and you have to decide, whether or not to do an investment of several $1 million or euros, you definitely want to double check this. I mean, AI can give you some guidance, but if there is no due diligence, that's way too risky. I mean, sometimes what I'm doing is I'm asking the same question on, say, ChatGPT, and then use Gemini, and then I use Claude, and when I get different answers, I know there is some, we have to dig a little deeper. And then there are also large language models that have this logic in there, and they actually ask you, but by the way, you have to double check this, or you need to answer this question first before I can give you a more meaningful answer. If you just, and even if you say use ChatGPT, you ask something, give me data such about a certain problem, that's one thing. But you do a deep search. First, AI gives you a set of questions You need to answer before AI starts working. So it's like it's AI is not people. So I talked to a CEO of an AI company a couple of months ago, and he said like AI and us humans were on eye level. And I totally disagreed, because if a year or 2 years ago AI was not, people were not even talking about it. Now it's already eye level. What happens tomorrow? No. I see and I treat AI as a companion, as a tool, and it will
Companion.
only
Okay.
be a tool.
Okay.
And a fool with a tool is still a fool. Yes, we can
Okay.
learn a lot through AI, but again, the question is, it's not so much about intelligence. The question is, who is in charge? Do you
Okay.
want AI to be in charge or you?
Absolutely us humans. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Sir, maybe there is a possibility, because in generative AI, the quality of output is also dependent on the quality of the prompt actually.
Of course, of
The
course,
better the
always.
prompt, the better the output actually. The moment you will make a mistake in the prompt, automatically the large learning models LLM will perceive it in a different way, in a
There's always a risk.
altogether
I mean, it's
different
getting
manner.
better. It's getting
Yeah.
better, especially when you talk about generative AI and super AI. I mean, the advances are immense and will be much smarter than us.
Yeah.
But again, yes. So we have to be careful. What kind of questions do we want to ask? And again, this is when if you ask a question, what you want to find, if you want to find out something about whatever the future, what you can do, you first need to know what is it that drives you, the why behind everything. So you say, for example, you say, there is something I need to have some guidance on a certain issue. Why is it important to you? Then you take that answer and again you ask, why is that important to you?
Okay.
You ask the 5 whys, 5 times why. Why? Because it's, you really want to get down to why is it important to you,
Okay.
and then see if the question you want to ask is actually addressing what's really important to you. So the quality of the question is very important, and the quality of
Absolutely.
question, therefore,
Certainly.
becomes more important, especially for the boardroom, but not just for the boardroom, for anyone using AI these days.
Okay. Sir, how does a leader hold themselves accountable for preserving the human spirit in their respective organization while simultaneously moving forward the aggressive efficiency gains that AI demands?
Well, there are two elements. AI can help organizations become more efficient and more productive. There is no doubt about it. So we're talking about cost savings, and I think it is very important because look, you have to look at the profit margin. That's one thing. This is kind of the outcome, but the question is it a goal? And AI gives us the opportunity, maybe a mandate, or actually calls us to ask, why are we in business in the first place?
Okay.
What's the purpose of business? Now, my view is like if some is the business, or the purpose of business, or the business of business is to generate value for and by people.
Okay.
This is my attitude. Why? Because like when you do it for people, you actually become more competitive. Now, the outcome is still profit. You need to make a profit, because there's no profit, then it's not sustainable. Okay, because you want to grow. But if you just say, I want to make a profit, and you neglect all the other things, well, why are you in business in the first place? You just want to make money, then become a broker and stuff, because there is no real value behind it besides money. But most businesses, like, you want to make a difference. What's the business of business? If you say the business of business is business, it's pretty lame. When you say the business of business is to please shareholders, it's, excuse my French, it's bullshit. Because there is not a single corporation that has been focusing on shareholder value that actually generated sustainable value. Not a single one. And that is actually evidence-based. Okay, so the question is like, what is it that you really focus on? What's the light tower? You can say this is very important. Now, and you ask, like, how can we make sure that we still stay accountable? Who's in charge? That's basically but that's the bottom line. Who is in charge? Is it use AI as a companion to help improve processes? They are more efficient, and you can delegate quite a few routine jobs to AI. Humans no longer have to do that, so that we can focus on where we're really good at. So this is talking about complexity, talking about creativity, talking about interaction, human interaction, etc. Now, just because AI can do quite a few things does not mean we have to do everything. If we do not ask these critical questions, yes, maybe AI could take over one of these days. So this is actually also called, do we need to regulate AI? I do not like the word regulation. I'm an economist. And the things, though, we have to have the discussion, because if AI takes over in business, that's one thing. But think about the military. Do you want AI to be in charge of all the weapon systems?
Absolutely not, sir. Not at all.
So that's why it's being, actually, this is why it's being regulated. And interestingly, China has more regulation in place than most other countries. In Europe, they're talking about it. Trump said like there should not be any regulation, which I think is short-sighted. It's totally myopic, and it's going to backfire, because you need to have a smart regulation to ensure that us humans stay in charge.
Okay. Sir, in an AI accelerated environment where a single algorithmic error can scale to thousands of customers instantly, how can leaders foster a culture of psychological safety while maintaining high-stake accountability for those systematic risk?
That's good, because it's a human element when we talk about psychological safety. And psychological safety has been somewhat of a buzzword the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And I worked for a corporation a couple of years ago, and they said, yeah, psychological safety is very important, and we have all the programs in place, etc. But when you're an executive and all of a sudden you do deal with psychological safety or the lack thereof.
If you are a sales guy, Dr. Thomas, and you are not meeting the KPIs at the end of the day, you will receive the stress from your supervisor.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. Yeah. What KPIs do you really have? Is it just like bottom line, which is like profits, or is it also the well-being? How many sick days do you have? How you can satisfied or how engaged are your teammates? This is like something we need to look into. And numbers, you can always manipulate numbers, okay? Yeah. But when you look at the engagement level on the global workforce, only 14 to 16% of the global workforce is actively engaged in their job. And sadly, this number has been stable over the last 20 to 30 years. So while companies talk about psychological safety, how come it be that this number is still stable? So I guess if you really want to work for a company which has a future, find those companies where they have a high engagement level. Yes, they're investing in AI, but humans still count, not as a resource, but as people. And there are companies out there, and this is what I encourage the audience to look for.
Okay. Sir, how can leaders be held accountable for the moral fluency of their AI, ensuring that technology reflects human values rather than just statistical probabilities?
First, we need to know what our values are.
Okay.
What are our human values? And values for some it's like it's an abstract term. Just ask the question, what is important to you personally? And then again, dig down a little bit. Why is it important to you? And when you find out, okay, so for example, if you say, hey, money is very important to me, it's like, why is money so important to you? Well, I can buy such and such. Okay, why is it important to you? Well, I can have a great time. Okay, why is it important to you? Well, I feel alive. You know, I'm healthy, and so why is this important to you? Well, you know what? Health is very, very important to me. Okay, you just found out what's really important to you. What's one of your values? Health. But it's not. Don't stay on the tip of the iceberg. Dig a little deeper. Take the time. When leaders do not know their own personal values, what drives them personally, tough. And then the thing is, you need to align the individual values with the values of the company, because hopefully the company has some values which go beyond shareholder value, and the values of the people you're working with, the team. Then you have to align these values and the goals. And when you align them, magic can happen. And by the way, this is something we are doing at Human Business Labs. Not
Can you
top
please
down.
share some of your amazing consulting work that you are doing, sir, in the
Well,
area
it's
of
not
human
really.
governance?
It's not really consulting per se, but what we do is we call them impact labs. These are secure spaces where small teams they address high-stake business challenges and turn these business challenges into high-impact projects within a couple of days, actually also using AI. That's one thing. AI can help accelerate this process. The thing, what makes the magic, is that we align the business goals, the individual values and goals, and the values and the goals of the team. And so there's a sweet spot. It's like a Venn diagram, you can say, the sweet spot of this alignment. This is where you want to build, say, projects. Why projects? It's a bottom-up approach. It's like you don't, when you have a cake, you don't eat the whole cake. You eat one bite at a time, one piece. And especially in an uncertain environment, maybe just start with a pilot, with a project. And for this project duration, you make sure that everything is aligned. Then you go to the next project and you connect the various dots, and then alignment can happen from the bottom up. But alignment is key. When you align the business goals, the individual and the team goals, and the values in a company, you are moving mountains. And the nice thing, AI can accelerate this alignment, but it cannot replace it, because when you align human values, AI is artificial. We use human intelligence, and some things you cannot translate to an algorithm. We are much more complex than an algorithm. People say, no, you can. There's you can ethical in AI and stuff. And it's like, well, you can, maybe there is it can get a little closer, but let's put it this way. If everything can be an algorithm, even a complex with quantum computing, then let's start an experiment. Define or give me a definition which is universally accepted of love or empathy or peace. And there is no, cannot be an algorithm. If you ask Putin, what's your understanding of peace? And then you ask Zelensky, what is your understanding of peace? They're on opposite sides.
Just wait. Sir, for the victory spectrum audience, what is the victory, in your opinion, in AI leadership? Is it successful automation of your business organization, or is successful elevation of human contribution through the automation? In this era, how should a CEO performance is measured in this new era, sir?
Okay. When business, the bottom line often still is profit. Okay, and I think that's it's going to stay there. But that's not the only one. The question, like, do you want to burn out people? How do you get there? The how also matters a great deal. So you have to balance these two. It's not they say 50-50, but you have to know what kind of environment do you want to live in. As a leader, it takes two to tango. I have the analogy of tango a lot, actually, also in my company, talking Leadership Tango. When you want to be a leader, in tango, usually the man is leader, is the king. Okay, the follower, usually the woman, is the beauty, the grace, etc. But the leader has to understand that he, or maybe she, dances for the follower. Only if the follower feels like being treated or being the queen can he become the king.
Okay.
So, in other words, it's way beyond servant leadership, but it's like a dialogue, leader and follower. If you want to be a good leader, you need to make sure that you give the follower a choice to follow you. And you have to make sure that you let the follower shine, make it look good. And then you move together. Okay, so leadership is a future of leadership is not AI driven. It's still human centric.
Okay.
And you can use AI to get there. But at the end of the day, you and the woman or whoever you dance with, you moving together. It's like this. Can you plan a dance? It doesn't have to be tango. You plan everything in your mind. Everything. Everything is perfect. AI gives you the perfect plan. But unless you move physically, it's not a dance. Now, if you want to have a high quality of a dance, you connect with the heart of the other person.
Yes.
Then this is a dialogue. Then it becomes art. Then it is flow. And that's true leadership.
Okay. Sir, your last question, your special message to all decision makers of corporate Pakistan, how to resonate AI with the human intuition.
It's very simple. AI is not just a technology. And AI can help business to become more efficient, more productive, more competitive. But not just from the process level, from the human level. So therefore, AI can help business to become human.
Okay.
The question is, what kind of business do you want to work in? What kind of business do you want to shape?
Okay.
Is it just machines? Because if you think everything is just a machine, that leader at the end of the day will be replaced by a machine he or she invented. So it's a basic question. It's a very basic question. And now is the time to ask these basic questions, and let's work on these questions together. Because it's not so much the WTF question, what's the future? The question is, how do we want to work in the future? How do we want to live?
Who is the
in
decision
the future?
maker?
The decision makers actually starts with us. So the next person in the audience, next time you're using AI, what do you really want to get out of it? What's important to you? How can it help you to get better as a human being? And sometimes the best thing to do with AI, shut off the engine and talk to your partner. Go out in nature, breathe, because it's not all about algorithms.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Thomas Juli. It's a wonderful discussion and sharing your insights. It's one of the finest 23 minutes and 30 seconds of my podcasting journey, actually. And the best part of the discussion is who is the decision maker. After the discussion, we need to think about ourselves. Is it completely AI or is it completely us? And if it's completely us, so what kind of productivity we are expecting from artificial intelligence, which we are using in our daily life, whether it's business or professional. So we are leaving some thoughts with you. Stay tuned for more episodes, Dr. Thomas. It's a pleasure and it's a wonderful discussion with you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Take care. Amazing session.